Get ready, please.
Against Vesper and Princeton of the USA. Princeton, hugely powerful as our Vesper, so we've got a good race. This is a really international race coming up, and this should be good. This is one of the new events, of course, the women's fours.
Indeed.
Attention!
New event this year.
Go!
And away they go. French on the left on your departure station there with the distinctive French paddles.
Cruise stacked with internationals has been a really interesting race.
Just having a look at those blades darting in and out the water on Vesper and Princeton. So they've just nudged ahead early, but off Temple Island, this will be a feisty encounter. The umpire intervening. I think it was Vesper and Princeton. No, it's the French that he's called across.
Yeah, it's Club France have been asked to return back to their station, their side of the river.
And again, it's drifting out towards the Americans. Really tight race there, look at that. There's nothing in it.
A few feet in it, stroke for stroke.
Feisty encounter, that's how I build it, and it's lived up to its billing so far, hasn't it?
It looks like both crews quite an aggressive stroke. As you compared it to Vicky Thornley's very long, slow, smooth stroke earlier. You see the difference between these two crews. They're really going hard at it off the start, the first 200-300 metres.
So Club France carrying the wrath of the umpire. I think it's settled down now. They both look pretty neatly positioned in the water, and the Americans squeaking ahead for now.
Settling into a 35-36 strokes a minute and taking another few feet of a lead out of Club France.
See the Americans there. Grace Latz, Emily Regan, Elizabeth Youngling and Molly Brueggemann in the stroke seat. And there's the Club France boat.
Vesper!
Now Vesper.
Both crews!
Both crews. The umpire's getting very lively in this race.
Wants to get involved. Often the way though in Coxless fours. Steering's really tricky down the course, especially at this distance then, because when you come off the start you have guides that help you steer. Club France again starting to drift into the middle of the river. Umpire will be taking interest in that, I think. No, you just see them starting to correct back to their side. You see the half-mile signal left hand side.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more from the umpire in a moment, but he's poised like an umpire about to fire out a batsman in cricket.
Well, sometimes just reaching the flag can have an effect. You don't even actually brandish it. So the crews have done well. They've returned to their station. Though interesting, the Club France crew does keep drifting back into the middle. Often the case, maybe on one side, athletes slightly stronger than the other. Looks like Vesper and Princeton enjoying the lead now.
Yes, on all the length. But still the pressure will be on for both boats to maintain their correct position on the river. Doing that at the moment. So the French boat, Club France, have been involved at high level in some of the junior competitions in the recent weeks.
Vesper and Princeton now squeezing out to 2-length lead. Tim, both crews 34-35 strokes a minute, so not much difference there. Just if you look from this view, it's absolutely brilliant view, isn't it? You can just see the slightly longer, more efficient stroke at the crew in the top of your view now, and that's the Vesper and Princeton crew.
Yeah, in the yellow boat. They look well organised, don't they?
They do, really well synchronised.
Grace Latz in the bow seat for Vesper and Princeton will be pleased that she can see all the action from her seat. Get a good gauge on how far ahead of Club France they are. St Mary's Church in Henley in the background. You can see the flag. No breeze at all. Perfect temperature. And very busy the water. It will only get busier as well between now and Sunday afternoon, finals afternoon.
What a brilliant view of the course, isn't it? About 3/4 miles, so let's say 2/3 of the way down. We've got Upper Thames Rowing Club on the left, Brennan Club. It's a bit noisy part of the course, I mean lots of support.
Yeah, the Club France boat just meandering again for a moment, but there's Vesper and Princeton.
The problem with steering is it does cost you a bit of distance every time you steer, because the rudder reduces the efficiency of the boat. So you ideally want to avoid to steer as little as you possibly can.
As the crow flies is what you want to do, isn't it? Rather than like my dog when I take him for a walk.
Yeah, Club France again straying back into the middle.
Yeah. See if the umpire acts upon that, but it looks like the Americans will be moving on in the women's fours.
And it might be, it's hard to tell from this, it looks like the Vesper has got a 2-length lead. If the one crew's sufficiently ahead that it doesn't affect, if the crews don't affect each other, then the umpire sometimes lets them sort of steer towards you, as long as there's no risk of a collision and you're not impeding the other crew.
Well, especially the boat that's behind, in that there's not much to be gained, is there, by going off onto the opponent's water. If you're the boat in front, I suppose you can create havoc with your puddles and your dirty water, can't you? So you want to, they'll be a bit firmer on a lead boat.
Yeah, and if you're not a rowing fan, it's not a good idea to row in the wake of the crew ahead. It'll slow you down. You want your water to be as calm as possible. So it just makes your life even harder if you row behind the crew ahead of you. And equally, the crew ahead, it's unsportsmanlike to then move into the middle and what we call in a rowing world washing your opposition down and making the water there in rough. So that's not tolerated by the umpire either. But here, both crews on their correct station. Coming up to the enclosures, so starting to get a bit noisy. There'll be lots of support.
Yeah, last few hundred metres of this women's fours heat. And it looks like Vesper and Princeton, the Americans, will make pretty easy progress through against Club France. Great experience for them, though. They're only a young boat.
Doing their best to come back on terms. Vesper and Princeton rowing at 34-35 strokes a minute. Club France an extra couple of strokes a minute.
Nothing in the way to these two boats. Average for the Americans 78, average for the French 77, so no advantage to be had there either way. But certainly the Americans technically have got it well together. They looked like a really good crew, didn't they? Right from the off, they've put in a good race there. And a glance over the shoulder from Grace Latz in the bow seat, finding out how far there is to go. Not far is the answer.
Showing their pedigree. There's one Rio gold medalist in that boat, and they looked the superior crew.
Certainly. So Vesper and Princeton go through in the women's fours. They'll be here over the weekend. Club France dug deep, but never really threatened.